on Sound Advice, Andrew Everard joins us to review the NAD 3050 amplifier. Now, Andrew, this is a rather retro, totally classic looking amp. And there seems to be a bit of a trend for retro looks at the moment. Why is that?
It's basically because it's about 50 years since most of the big hi-fi companies started making products. So everyone's doing 50th anniversary products this year. Sometime in the beginning of the 70s is when it all kicked off.
So does the sound match the looks, or is everything inside totally up to date and the outside is just for that retro feel?
Yeah, I mean, some of the amplifiers that are coming out at the moment are basically recreations of products from 50, 40 years ago with a few tweaks. This one is completely different. This is old on the outside, new on the inside. So it has analog and digital inputs. It's even got an HDMI to connect your TV sound up. And it's got hybrid digital amplification, which you certainly didn't see in 1973.
Is it also fair to say that some of the luxury manufacturers are much more able to do the retro properly? Because when everything went digital, I think some people felt that it had gone too far, that it was multiple presses of buttons to do things, when actually just turning a knob or pushing a fader feels much nicer for the user.
Yeah, I mean, this one has separate push buttons on the front for each input, so you're not scrolling through a whole lot of inputs. You just hit the button for the input you want, whether it's for your turntable or a CD player or, as I say, for your television.
Now, this uses Blue OS as the operating system. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And is it easy to use?
Yeah, Blue OS is something that the guys behind the NAD brand, Lenbrook, developed some time ago. It's a way of streaming high-res music across your home network, whether that's from files stored in your computer or from streaming services like Spotify and Tidal. And it's found in a lot of NAD products and also in a separate range of Blue Sound products. So you can mix and match all of those products together and set up a whole house multi-room system.
Now, this amplifier, as I understand it, is modular in design, and that kind of thing is becoming a lot more popular now. So it can be upgraded in the future as new features come along. It sounds like a fabulous idea, but how does it work in practice on a piece of kit like this?
It's an NAD thing called MDC, Modular Design Construction, which sounds very, very fancy, but in fact it means it's got a couple of slots in the back into which you can push in a card like you might in an old computer to add on functionality. So in this case, as you buy the amplifier as standard, it doesn't have streaming built in, but you can buy it as a package with one of these MDC cards that you just slide in the back, and that then opens up streaming. There are other cards that add more digital inputs or more HDMI video inputs, and it's something you can do at home. It's not a service engineer job. It's a question of undoing a couple of screws and then pushing a card in, doing the 2 screws up, and you're good to go.
So that's a few things about the physical design that set this amp apart. But how did you feel listening to it? How did it delight your ears, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this brand has been doing sort of magical things with amplifiers since about the end of the 70s, certainly, when they came out with their 3020 amplifier, which is still the best-selling amplifier of all time. It was under 100 quid, and everybody wanted one. In fact, I was one of my first amplifiers when I was still at university. And they've been developing ever since, and they do offer a very good balance of value for money and sound quality, whether it's at the bottom of the range or right up to the top.
Anything particularly distinctive that makes it a favourite for you?
Yeah, plays music. And that's a very pat thing to say, but I mean a lot of products are all about detail and hi-fi-ness and everything else. But this one just plays music. It's completely enjoyable whatever you play through it.
So easy to live with, easy to use, easy to set up?
Yep. And he's very easy to set up and wrapped in wood, so it looks like a 1970s amplifier. What more could you want?
So if that sounds like the amp for you, Andrew's full written review is on the Sound Advice website. It's worth a read, to be honest, even if you don't feel like this amp is for you. But we do have also lots of other amplifier reviews on there as well.